We know the shooter is a far-left activist, caught on camera shouting "Free Palestine," and as he was arrested, he kept chanting the slogan and said, "I did it for Gaza." So why the F are all these people on the left saying "if true"? And if that's who he is, and if he's not an IDF plant, and you don't want any of the blame for what just happened on you? He is described as what he is. He said what he said. Stop asking why people who understand what we're up against, like Douglas Murray, caution Joe Rogan against his comic buddies bashing Israel for sport and to develop a following. Prosecutors allege this guy fired nearly 24 bullets in this attack because he wanted to kill as many as he could. And we know what's feeding the fire, right? Don't pretend to not know what this is about. The man has been conditioned to identify with the oppression in Gaza as if he's one of them. And there are so many like him here, in our families, on our campuses. Did he know one of his victims wasn't a Jew? I love how people are using that as it somehow mitigates what this was about. You know he didn't know, right? He was there to kill Jews, obviously. But imagine if you're right, and he did know that one of them was not Jewish. So now they're targeting not just Jews, but those who stand with Jews?
Be leaders ourselves.
Black women are being used by the Democrat Party.
All of these socioeconomic indicators are in the negative, particularly for black people.
They want mob rule. When Trump was in office, please somebody tell me what act of dictatorship did he perform?
She has Donald Trump's hair on top of her head. And she's sitting here talking about brown girl this, brown girl that.
Because she's a black woman.
They would ask her how to spell her first name and clap like sea monkeys.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa.
What's up, everybody? It is Friday. This is our Friday Night Live, and it's time for Pop and Politics. I'm KJ. Let me introduce you to my co-hosts. Of course, we have Nicole Bennett.
Hey, y'all.
Shelly E.
Hi.
Okay.
And me. What I'm talking about, and me. All right. My gosh, Friday. It's Friday. A long week. You guys are gonna have to really deal with us tonight. Okay. So before we light this fire, do your part, tap that thumbs up, smash that subscribe button, and turn on your notifications. We're live on YouTube and Rumble. If you're on the go, you can catch us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify under the name Pop and Politics. We love our chat. We shout out every super chat. So drop your thoughts, show your love, and join the conversation that the mainstream media wishes didn't exist. And of course, it's Friday. Last couple of Fridays, we got into a super chat war, sort of, so to speak, a bidding war. So let's see who's going to get the largest super chat tonight. That was fun over the last couple weekends, and we really appreciate you guys. So this is not just a podcast. This is a movement of God-fearing, truth-seeking, America-loving people that value freedom. Stand with us and subscribe so we can amplify this rallying call for freedom. All right, ladies, let's set it off. How are you all doing tonight?
Wonderful.
Good.
I'm actually tired. I've had a productive week. I'll say that. But it's just, you know what? I'm looking forward to just resting, literally resting.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, same here. I'm actually kind of tired today. But I get energized every time I hear that theme music when we get on here, and I see you guys. You all are in the chat. The chat is energized, and it just pumps me up. So let's get into it. All right. So you saw at the top of the show, we showed the latest or recent interview with Chris Cuomo, of all people. Now, Chris Cuomo is not my favorite person in the world, at least as far as news pundits, but he was giving it to media and the Democrats and the left, I should say, for their response to this awful DC shooting. So what do you ladies think about this? Now, of course, we're talking about the awful, horrible shooting of 2 Israeli staffers. Was that Wednesday evening at the DC Israeli embassy? 2 innocent people were gunned down by a pro-Palestinian activist. And so we now have, of course, the response from the media, from the left, which hasn't been much, but they refuse to connect the dots or at least make some type of reconciliation about this. That is this connected to the protest that we've seen on college campuses? I want to start off with you, Nicole, on this. What's your response to his rant?
I think his rant it was on point. I'm not a fan of Cuomo. I've never been a fan of Cuomo for obvious reasons. But in this instance, he's absolutely right. Beyond reproach, right. They have got, and when I say they, I mean the left, they have got to stop coddling these people who are doing vicious, awful, horrible acts in the name of their quote unquote activism. I refuse to call this guy an activist. He's not an activist. He's a damn lunatic. He's a murderer is what he is. He's an absolute murderer. And I don't care that his father's connected to some Democrat congressman. None of that makes a difference to me. Just the same with Luigi, who he's connected to. That's a pretty tight Maryland connection as well. Doesn't make a difference. He too is a lunatic murderer. We've got to start calling it for what it is. And you're right, KJ, all of this anti-Semitism is rising up all over the country. When you're not safe out in front of your own embassy, there's a problem.
Yeah. And Shelley, do you feel as though there are some progressive politicians and influencers that have normalized anti-Israel rhetoric, creating an environment ripe for this radical violence?
I think so, but I want to make a few points. Number one, yes, college campuses by and large have become virtual cesspools. They're not educating, they are indoctrinating. They are indoctrinating and making, if you will, creating activists and not necessarily advocates for good, for things that are honorable and decent, even things that are just. There's a place for even people being trained to help people maybe who have been in prison wrongly. Okay. There's a place for all of that. That's largely being overshadowed today by the Free Palestine and the River to the Sea crowd and anti-Semitic, anti-Jewish crowd. That's number one. Number two, I have begun calling, and I'm not a Jew, so please, I'm not saying this offensively. I don't mean to be offensive at all. I've begun calling anti-Semitism what it is. It's just another form of racism. And we talked about on our show, the last show, of how this racism, period, whether it's from Black people towards white people, anybody towards Jews, in any way you want to go, it does nothing at the end except cause death and destruction. So that piece of shit, that guy who murdered these 2 people, ultimately he was performing acts of evil. I don't care where he got it from. I don't care where. We can't blame, I'm not blaming the colleges and universities for what he did. I blame the colleges and universities for what they stir up, if you will, what they teach or the lack thereof. Every one of us is responsible for our own actions. So I'm not even blaming his father necessarily. Okay. He murdered these people. He's the one that needs to pay the cost. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, I agree. I agree there. I still think, and I think you're saying this as well. And you are as well, Nicole, that, like you mentioned, these college campuses, for instance, just how they have demonized President Trump. So, we have seen over the last several years how the media, how the left have called him Hitler, have compared him to dictators, have demonized him. And so they have created this idea that he is some huge threat to not just the United States, but Americans on a whole. And so now you have these progressives, whether they're crazy or not, you do have a certain segment of the population who believe that possibly hurting President Trump is warranted because he is this dictator that's going to take away our rights and things like that. Same like this. We have seen over the last several years the rhetoric regarding the Jewish community. They have been othered. They have been made to be like there's some, cabal of people that every wrong, every issue goes to the Jewish people. They're behind it all, and so they need to be eradicated. This is the narrative that has been painted, and then that we as Americans, not even as Americans, as people of color, should share some kinship with Palestinians just because we're all brown, which makes no sense because they hate us. They hate Americans. So, I mean, once you connect the dots, we're seeing a real problem here with this type of rhetoric. Just my opinion there.
I agree with you. It's gotten to a fever pitch. There's been an uptick in anti-Semitism probably over the course of the last 6-7 years, but it's got to a point now where 2 Israelis are gunned down in front of their own embassy in Washington, D.C., and the liberal media is like, oh, well, next story. Next story. We should be horrified as Americans. Yeah. Because let me tell you, if these were 2 Americans gunned down in somebody else's nation in front of our embassy, honey, the rockets red glare all day, every day. And we have got to start taking this stuff seriously. Washington, D.C., Trump was right. Mayor Bowser was right. There's some cleaning up that needs to happen. Definitely need to get hold of their homeless situation. They have a huge teenage crime problem with those mobs of kids that just go beating people up on the streets. We have really got to do something different as far as keeping that city safer. But when you combine our regular problems, everybody's got teen crime, everybody's got, regular crime, and you add lunatic leftists on top of it, it's not a place. It's just not a good place. And we've got to be better. We have got to be better.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And people are getting tired of this stuff. Before we move on, we do have a super chatter here. Thank you so much. Gimpy says Kahan was right. So Gimpy was on with me last night. Folks, if you missed it, go and check it out at KJ Christian Conservative. We were talking about this shooting, went into depth about it on KJ Christian Conservative. And he had some really good points that he made last night. Definitely check out the live from last night. You can find us at KJ Christian Conservative. And thank you so much for that, Gimpy. All right. So again, folks, as you come in, please hit that like button. Hit that like button. It really helps to get the video out in front of many more people, especially here on YouTube. The more you like, the more people will see this. And this is what we need to happen. Okay, so moving right along. I mean, we're not the only ones that are pushing back against this legacy media. Greg Gutfeld on Fox and Friends, not Fox and Friends, The Five. Mm-hmm. He went in on liberal co-host Jessica Tarlov. This time, though, it was more about her defense of former President Biden. Take a look. This is clip 3.
But when you actually read the transcripts of what he's talking about, he says, oh, Joe Biden's brain is absolute mush. He has stage 9 cancer, which is not real. Oh, by the way, I just aced a cognitive test. He loves bragging about that, man, woman, person, camera, TV. And we are also supposed to believe that he's 6'3" and 224 pounds, which makes him an NFL wide receiver. We forgot, remember his original doctor who forged that letter about him? Like, come on here.
Come on, it's actually comparing him to this. This is a mess. Like, you have no reason to question the Dems about this. Are you out of your mind? They're the best doctors in the world. And a patient who is arguably the most important patient in the world who gets tested pretty much weekly. They have to check him out, but somehow they decided not to do this. I'm wondering, do you believe that story, or is it possible the Democrats might be lying? Ooh, that's a tough call. Listen to Joe Scarborough just now, feeling like I'm watching a Dateline episode and watching the husband's alibi fall apart, and he's desperately trying to save his life because he's trying to save his job. There is a huge hole in this narrative about Joe's decline. they're trying to present themselves as a loyal staff protecting an incapacitated leader. And yet the policies were anything but feeble. He may have been a mess, but the policies were a coherent list of woke desires. And true, the decisions may have possibly destroyed the country, but that wasn't a byproduct of Biden's brain. That was deliberate and determined, and we need to find out who that person was. This is what Trump is talking about when he's mentioned the auto pen.
Wow. Oh, he was spot on with that take as well, Gutfeld. So, of course, you know, now Biden's mental decline, his cognitive decline is out in the open. It's undeniable, unspinnable. So what do the Democrats do? They distract, deflect, and demonize President Trump. But you had an interesting take on this, Shelley. Who stood to benefit the most from a cognitive declined Biden? Where was Kamala Harris?
Exactly. Because, okay, constitutionally, if he was incapacitated, which we pretty much know he was, we knew he was then, but okay, now we're getting more and more confirmation about that. Then she should have been stepping in to run the White House, run the country. I mean, okay, whatever, wherever that goes. But constitutionally, that was the progression, okay? His handlers, or whatever you call them, his cadre of handlers, his wife, these people were destroying the country through him. And again, I don't think he knew much. At a certain point, he was out to lunch, really, or, you know, out to the Delaware beach, or getting an ice cream cone, falling off the bicycle, whatever. He didn't know much. But these people, this is treason. This is treason. You talk about a coup. These kinds of coups happen in, in what we call third world countries, so to speak. But they happened here on the United States American soil within the last 4 years. These people need to have congressional hearings to get it on the record. This needs to happen like yesterday.
Yeah, I agree. Nicole, what are your thoughts on this?
I think Shelley hit the hammer on the head, but I have a different political take on it. So you're right. Kamala Harris stood to gain the most out of it. But look at how many of Joe Biden's handlers, who are top-ranking Democrats like Ron Klain and all of those people, who flatly refused to give up the seat of power to the sitting vice president. I wonder why that was. I wonder, was it because they figured she couldn't conjugate a verb, so we're not going to let her speak whole sentences, right? It got to a point when I was watching what you guys did with Megyn Kelly, the live of the interview. It got to a point where I was like, okay, so this wasn't even an open secret. Just everybody knew. It wasn't even a secret. It was all over the place. But why no one tapped Kamala? Why no one said, he's too incapacitated to serve. He's out of here. Kamala steps up. Since she was their go-to candidate, coronated, why didn't they pick her? Could it be that top-level Democrats knew that she would not be a very good president? I think so. I think they've seen her handiwork in California. They've seen her handiwork as lackluster being vice president, and they'd rather do it themselves than allow her anywhere near a seat of power.
But Nicole, to your point, I agree with you. To your point, I totally agree with you. But constitutionally, why didn't she just take the authority? Because she was already in the position. She was elected, so therefore she didn't need their permission. Constitutionally, she had the absolute authority and obligation to say the hell with all of you. So that goes to your point. You're right. She was as beholden to them just as much as they were controlling the strings. So who was running our government? Who?
Biden. I'm sorry. Obama. It was Obama.
And so top level Democrats were running the country. But Shelley, you are so right when you made that point, because she could have stepped in at any moment.
Exactly.
The question, did she actually want to lead, or she just wanted the title and the paycheck?
No, I think she wanted to, but there has been a long running rumor, or behind the scenes, it has been said that that Obama and his crew did not like Kamala Harris. Mm-hmm. And so why would they want to turn over the power to her when they had, as you mentioned, a incapacitated Biden, And so then they could just do what they wanted to do. He couldn't make any decisions, so they could just run the White House as if he was doing it, but it's really them behind the scenes. So they wouldn't want Kamala Harris to take over the mantle. They wouldn't want her to get involved because they could do it as a shadow government.
Exactly. That goes to the point. Who is running our government? We have constitutional elected presidents, vice presidents, whatever. She didn't. I'm just saying, theoretically, she didn't need their permission, right? She should have stepped into her role when the president is incapacitated. That's an automatic. It's constitutional. So you're right, KJ. It was a shadow government. So we have, for all intents and purposes, the shadow government, unelected bureaucrat who had brains on our government. The people have spoken. They voted. I didn't vote for them, but they voted for Biden and Harris. This is treason. This is beyond a coup. This is treason. Our Constitution has been upended, and this is a constitutional crisis. We need to have this fight, if you want to call it that. We need to have this battle settled. Our Congress, I'm going to go back to Congress, our Congress and our Senate, our senators, Mike Johnson, the Senate, they need to be calling for hearings, official hearings. They want to call hearings for Kavanaugh about these bogus charges and anything else. They need to have a hearing on the books.
Absolutely. I want to acknowledge our super chatters here, folks. Thank you so much. We have Bill Trader. Thank you with the $5 super chat. Says, hi, girls. Love your show. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you guys. Your super chats go a long way in helping us produce conservative content. Speaking of helping us produce this stuff, folks, we have an event coming up next Saturday. So we are not just on the podcast. We are out in the community. We are hosting our second annual Informed Voter Power Series. This time, we are focused on Gen Z, the younger generation, teenagers, college students, and young adults. We want you to come out to this. It's going to be at the BWI Fairfield Inn meeting room there. We're going to have people talking about culture, talking about economics, politics, all of this, and conservative solutions that will help you in these areas. So we are super excited for this series, and we hope you can come out. Again, we got to start tackling and reaching out to the younger generation with our conservative viewpoints, folks. The left is in the high schools. They're on college campuses. We got to get there too. And this is a great way to start. We want to eventually create young ambassadors for the conservative movement. We need more and more of them because the next generation is where it's at. And so this is what we are doing. Again, as you can see there, it's Saturday, May 31st from 2 to 5 p.m. It's going to be an awesome event. Please come out, share. We will post this on our YouTube page to share this. And we really want you guys to come out. Again, this is going to be an event where we basically have young people is the focus here, and we're going to talk about culture, about some of the ideas or the topics: navigating modern relationships without losing your values. That is going to be a topic. Cash control in the culture, while conservative economics build real freedom. Another topic: how conservative education reforms build stronger communities, and what it means to be a conservative teen in a woke world. This is what we're doing here. It's going to be so much fun. Are you ladies excited about this?
I am excited. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it.
All right. So definitely we will post this on the link, the Eventbrite in the comments. And if you know somebody in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area, share this with them for them to bring out their teens, young adults. Come on out. All right. We got to acknowledge our super chatters here. Thank you all so much. All right. Let's see here. We have Job for 9 with the $5 super chat. Says, ladies, California just passed AB 1303, paying for crap taxes insane. California will go red again. Woo, from your mouth to God's ears. Yes. Yeah. All right. So thank you so much. Again, job for 9 with another $5 super. Is that says Coaster? Hey there, love the content. Former VP was never going anywhere. She was never a closer. Oh yeah, she was awful. She was awful. She didn't even go anywhere in the Democrat primary. So we know
she was being handled totally.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. But they couldn't skip over because she's a Black woman.
Yeah,
and there was no way they would be able to skip over her.
Right, exactly. And speaking of that, so Shelley, you were just talking about how these people are treasonous. Well, the media are enemies of the state, as President Trump has said time and time again. And here they are here, as you guys know, and we talked about this earlier in the week. Jake Tapper's book came out on Wednesday. What's the name of it?
Original Sin.
Original Sin, right. Where he basically advised that through reporting after the election, of course, people within Biden's administration and his, crew, I should say, came out and said that he was in cognitive decline, and they tried to cover it up. Well, here he is on Morning Joe, implying he and Joe Scarborough were targeted victims of the Biden regime concerning Joe's fitness to lead. This is ridiculous. Take a look at this. This is clip 4.
In your specific case, Joe, our reporting indicates that Joe Biden, who, as you know, is a frequent viewer of the show, saw when David Ignatius wrote that column in, I think, August 2023, saying that Joe Biden should not run for re-election because of what he had been hearing. Right. And he came on this show, and you guys had a robust conversation about this. You largely agreed that you'd been hearing things about this, but that there was really no alternative, that Kamala Harris was not up to the job. That's what Democrats were telling you behind the scenes. Joe Biden saw that. Joe Biden said to staffers that he wanted to convince you that you were wrong. And he focused on you like you were a constituency, like you were farmers in Iowa, like you were the Kiwanis Club in New Hampshire. And he made sure that you thought differently. He made sure that you thought differently. I think he did this with a couple people. I think he did it with Meacham. He might have done it with Evan Osnos. He knew that there were people that had to be convinced that he was fine. And he tried to prove that to you.
God, these idiots. So what he's basically saying is a cognitively declined and incompetent senile old man, Biden, and excuse my French, mind fucked them, right? Biden got ahead of them. He outsmarted them. This is what he's saying. It doesn't even make sense. He's saying that they were idiots and they fell for all of this, is what he's basically saying. Shelley, what's your response to that?
Yeah, that, and he's trying to cover for the media not doing its job. He's trying to cover for the media being in the ass of Biden and the Democratic Party. That's what he's really trying to do. He's trying to make himself and Scarborough look like they were just duped and, they were trying to do their job. But Jake Tapper, if I remember in the interview with Megyn Kelly, or I may have heard him say it before, when he came to Alex Thompson with the book, he already had a book that he was writing, and then he met up whatever kind of way connected with Alex Thompson. So basically, Jake Tapper is basically trying to take all this and run with it to make him, because he wants to make cover for himself because he didn't do his job. This is bullshit. Look, instead of just coming out and saying, you know what, media, we effed up. We didn't do our job. We let them run roughshod, go haywire, say anything. He had from June until October or November the 5th, whenever the book was starting to be written. He had about at least 4 or 5 months or so before he could come out and say something. He could have interviewed whomever. He could have interviewed anybody in the Republican Party.
Mm-hmm.
He could have interviewed anybody he wanted, but he chose not to because he was afraid of the Democratic Party and he wanted to be invited to the Associated Press events. He wanted to be invited to the party. He wanted to just, be the go-to guy. He basically licked the balls of Joe Biden's little raggedy, shrunk up, demented balls, and they had their heads up their asses. That's what they were doing. And now he's trying to play like he didn't like the taste of the lick. Bull.
Oh my gosh. Nicole.
Well,
I can't believe not his prostate balls. You are wrong.
First of all, Shelley paints a picture. You see what I'm saying? She uses her words like Picasso on a canvas. She paints a picture that is just going to burn into my psyche all night long. But I'm going to say this. Jake Tapper and all of the other Democrat journalists that have books coming, because he's not the only one. He's just the first one. And there'll be a myriad of these books. They saw an opportunity to get rich and they're taking it. They weren't coerced by the Democratic Party to do what they did. They did it willingly. They are active partners. They are participants in this. This is not where any Democrat said, hey, I got pictures of you doing something crazy and I'm going to blackmail you into doing this. They did it willingly. And all the files that they did when Elon took over X shows that they were willing participants. Nobody bribed them to do this. They did it because they wanted to, and they're going to continue to do it because they like being elite. Jake Tapper likes the sunshine, and there's nothing wrong with liking the sunshine, but if you have to sell your soul to get it, if you commit treason against the very nation that you profess to love, there's something wrong with you. And we already knew there was something wrong with him, but now the whole world knows. Listen, folks, don't spend one nickel buying that crappy book to tell us what we already knew 4 years ago.
Right.
We knew this 4 years ago. That's not like, lightning from above. This guy is trying to grift the American people again.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You are absolutely right, Nicole. Legacy media couldn't spot Biden's cognitive decline, even if it walked up and forgot their name on live TV. Exactly. Wait a minute. He did do that. He did it. It's ridiculous. They make me sick. Oh my goodness gracious. All right, we got to acknowledge these super chatters. Thank you all so much. We really appreciate every one of you. All right, we have here Silver Sister says ball liquor. I know. Mark Slater with a $5 super chat says, Shell, don't yell at us. Wendy, Friday with my sassy friends. Love the show. Thank you. Thank you all so much. We really appreciate it. And so we know Nicole has to jump off for this segment. Nicole, what are your final thoughts for this thing and what the media has done and what they're trying to do by spinning it now?
Listen, they're trying to spin it, but the American people are much smarter, much wiser because there's alternative facts, alternative media available for them to partake in, and they are in droves. And this is why we see so many legacy media people moving over to this particular space. So this is concerning to me for two reasons. They sit on TV and cry, oh, we didn't know. When one, we knew full well they knew. Two, not only did they know, but if anyone else brought it up, they dragged them for filth. They roasted them over an open flame. What they did to Laura Trump in that interview was ridiculous. And the fact that she found the grace to forgive him, speaks volumes about who she is as a human being. Because if I were her, Jake Tapper would be my number one topic every time I opened my mouth.
Right.
Exactly.
But with all of that said, I just don't think that the American people are going to buy any more of their bullshit.
I hope not.
You have to realize that they're not here to help.
Exactly.
They're here for their own power. They're here to ensure their own legacy, to enrich themselves, and they couldn't care less about the American people. And it shows in everything that they do. Every single thing that they do.
Well, have fun, Nicole. Have a good weekend.
I'm in the Outer Banks. I'm having a little vacation. Can you believe it?
Yes. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your time.
Thank you, guys. Catch you next time. Bye.
All right. Yes, indeed. I agree. I totally agree with what Nicole said. And one thing that we didn't talk about when we were talking about the whole Megyn Kelly interview was the fact that Jake Tapper, he basically was saying, he said that he tried to, be vanilla with the reporting for Biden before the debate, because he knew, or he claims, that the Biden administration did not like him. And so he didn't want to step on their toes. But what kind of reporter does that? I mean, and you could see, this is what he did. So, he totally did not press them. He did not ask them questions. He did not, he pushed away everyone who mentioned that Biden was being, had this cognitive decline, because he wanted to do the debate. He wanted to be the reporter or the journalist that got the debate. So he did it for his own good.
Exactly. And it was nothing about the American people having the facts, the information, even asking the good questions, the hard questions. That was nothing like that. Again, the media, I had another, Nicole said I have an image. I have another image. The media has been licking the balls of the Democratic Party, just like Joe Biden licks those ice cream cones. Now you put that's how much they've been licking. That's how much they've been licking his balls. KJ, don't make that face. KJ.
Oh no.
Look, it's been more than 4 years. Joe Biden was in office 4 years, but even the 4 years, maybe, years prior to that, of course, but certainly within the last 10 years, the media has literally been in the pants of the Democratic Party, licking all kinds of ways and whatever. That ice cream cone was really good to them.
I know, that's so gross. I can't even. I'm thinking about it, because he always was licking that ice cream cone, and then I'm thinking about your visual talking about the media licking his testicles. This is just gross. This is gross. You've gone too far. All right, moving along, folks. Oh my gosh. Speaking of ice cream and processed foods, we want to get into this Make America Healthy Again commission.
So we don't want to lick no balls and make them healthy.
Oh, you are crazy.
Ice cream is not healthy.
Stop it. You ruined honey. Now you're ruining ice cream. You on a mission. All right. The White House unveiled its long-anticipated Make America Healthy Again commission report, a major indictment of the manufactured crisis of chronic illness plaguing America's children. It was a 79-page report launched by President Trump and led, of course, by HHS Secretary RFK Jr. And basically, it concludes that U.S. kids are the sickest generation in modern history, folks, in modern history. Okay. Some people only voted for President Trump because of this whole Make America Healthy Again commission. There were some people, remember, when he brought on RFK Jr., that's when his campaign really exploded and took off, I would say, because people were excited about this. And I was always supporting President Trump, but I really got excited behind this Maha movement. But the media did not. And the Democrats, unfortunately, a lot of them did not, which is weird because they used to be all about health. Now, all of a sudden, they're not. So in this next clip, RFK Jr. is being interviewed by CNN's Kaitlan Collins, and he shuts her up. He shuts her all the way down. She tries to do this gotcha moment about doctors and the medical industry. And I bet you she regrets it now. This is clip 5. Take a look. Oh, do we have clip 5?
Here at the airport, I'm about to board my flight for San Salvador. The goal of this mission is to let the Trump administration, to let the government of El Salvador know that we are going to keep fighting to bring Abrego Garcia.
He said he was not able to make that happen. He said, I'm not
interested at this moment in taking a tour of CCOT. I just want to meet with Mr. Abrego Garcia. Trump administration is lying about Abrego Garcia.
This is why independent media is so important. Thanks to people like you, patriots who love America and stand for truth, we're making a difference. Together, we've turned them off, called them out for their lies and propaganda, and held them accountable for their disdain for God-fearing, freedom-loving Americans like us. But we can't stop here. It's time to take action with our dollars. Let's make 2025 the year we double down on our commitment to values-driven choices. Vote with your dollars. Support Made in America. Back companies that honor our families, faith, and country. We found an exciting way to make this switch, and we want you to join us. Check out www.popandswitch.com and click Yes, I Want to Make the Switch. It's that easy. It's time to walk away from corporations like BlackRock and Vanguard that undermine our principles. Let's invest in America. Let's support businesses that share our love for this country. You don't have to take on everything at once, but you can start here. Join us in making this one small yet powerful step. Visit www.popandswitch.com. Click the link and schedule a call with our team to learn how you can make the switch. Together, we can create real change.
What's up, guys? This is Giovanni, co-founder of Metro Conservative Media. We are the definitive home for the urban conservative. You think you got what it takes? Go to metroconservativemedia.com and click Join the Movement now.
You said that people should not take your medical advice.
Yeah,
that's your position?
Yeah, absolutely. People should not be taking medical advice. I'm somebody who is not a physician, but they should also be skeptical about any medical advice. They need to do their own research. You know, you're a mom. If you're a mom, you do your own research on your baby carriage, on your baby bottles, on your baby formula.
But they don't have medical degrees, obviously. If you're a mom and you're looking at what science has been tested, they trust their doctors and their pediatricians.
One of the responsibilities of living in a democracy where physicians and every sort of expert are subject to all kinds of biases. One of the responsibilities of living in a democracy is to do your own research and to make up your own mind.
So that's your message to moms or to anyone, is to do your own research?
I would say be skeptical of authority. My father told me that when I was a young kid. People in authority lie. And we've seen a lot of that in our country. And people in the media lie. And people need to make their own judgments and be skeptical and maintain their capacity for critical thinking. And that was shut down during COVID. And the media was complicit in that.
Disagree on that last part. Secretary Kennedy, thank you for your time.
What? I disagree on that last part. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. We got to get into this. Shelly, before we do, I want to acknowledge our super chatters, folks. Thank you all so much. All right, we have Josh. Hey, Josh is back tonight with a $10 super chat. Says, isn't it amazing how much the two parties have switched places? I know. A Kennedy serves in the Republican Trump administration, and the Cheneys supported Kamala Harris and Biden. Exactly. You're right, Josh. Yep. Thank you so much.
Can't make it up, right?
Yeah. I think we had another one there. Let's see here. Okay. All right. Yeah. Red Cup Talks with Mika. Says, hey, ladies. Kaitlan is so annoying. Yes, she is. We got to get Mika on here, too. One day, next Friday, Mika, we got to get you on with us. All right, Robin with the $20 super chat. Exactly, don't believe anything they say. All liars. They're in deep shit now because they're all going to start caving and cattle telling on each other. Right. Just love it. I love it when they implode on one another. Mark Slater with the $10 super chat says Megyn Kelly opened a can of whoop stuff on Jake Worm. Yes, she did. Oh my gosh. Do we have the short that Shelly and I did production? If you guys can go on our page and get that short that we did, we had a good time talking about that interview. Shelly, what did you think of that RFKJ exchange?
Yeah, what RFK was saying. Well, first of all, that journalist or the interviewer, She was saying that Americans are just dumb. They don't know how to read. They can't ask the right questions. They're supposed to just take what a doctor or anyone says and go with it. That's number one. Number two, I feel vindicated of sorts because for a long time I have said, no, you don't just trust anybody because of the position or whatever they have on titles, whatever. And KJ, you know what they always tell me? You're just a rebel. You just don't like authority. I just feel vindicated. I mean, I do. I'm a shameless plug to Shelly. I admit it. It's a shameless plug. Nevertheless, I've always been taught and learned that if you have questions, you ask them. It doesn't make a difference what the position is or what the title is or what the white coat says on whatever credentials. You ask questions. There's nothing wrong with asking questions. Maybe you just don't know. Maybe you don't understand, so you need to ask. However, we've known for a long time that many millions of people, I mean, there's been research on this. We call it the white coat syndrome, right? Anyone, particularly in the hospital or a researcher, when they wear this white coat and they look like whatever the part is, then the lay public tends to kind of acquiesce to them because it's this built-in psychology that, they know the answers. They are the ones who are educated and I have to do what they say. So there is a healthy balance to have, though. There's healthy skepticism. And then there is also learning and reading for yourself, asking the right questions. There's a healthy balance. That's it.
Yeah, I agree. But we have the pendulum has went all the way to the other side right now, as you mentioned. And we know, you see, the media hates for us to question authority, to question so-called experts. They don't want that. And this is all part of the communist agenda. We've talked about this before. Back in 1963, Congressman Albert S. Hurlong from Florida read the list of 45 communist goals for America, and he put it into the congressional record. And part of that list was to infiltrate the media. So turn the media into propagandist tools for the Communist Party. And this is what we have here. Unfortunately, the media has totally, I don't know what she talked about. I disagree with you on that last part. The media was totally against. First of all, they were continuing to push Dr. Fauci's lies. Then they censored anyone, not just regular people. I'm talking about credentialed experts all throughout the scamdemic. They censored those people, would not give them platforms, would not put them online, would not provide opposing viewpoints, medical research and such to people like Dr. Fauci. They went right along with them. No one questioned it. And this was, I think this was the whole Biden cover up, the scamdemic. I mean, all of it will go down in history as a black mark on our history.
Exactly. Yeah. The media doesn't want you to question, like you said, they're experts, right? Their authority, their deemed authority, whoever they may be. But these same types, these leftist types, will encourage particularly people in impoverished areas or a lower socioeconomic level. They'll encourage them to question authority, go out there and challenge the police when you know you're probably going to be the ones who get beat down, knocked over, maybe even shot because you are going against the authority improperly. Okay. There is it's called a healthy balance, a healthy skepticism, asking the right questions, I guess, to the right people at the right time, whatever the case may be. But they want carte blanche, a challenge of authority because they want chaos. There is if you want to call it, I'm going to call it, if you want, call it an orderly way to even question authority. Okay. They don't want that. They just want chaos, and they want you to believe they're self-appointed or experts, and that's it. You shouldn't have any questions for them. You should just take what they say and go and run with it. Even when you all go to your doctors, when we go to our doctors, if you have questions, ask the doctors. Okay. If you're somebody put in there your gut instinct, if your gut instinct is just telling you something maybe doesn't sound right, maybe I don't understand, ask your questions. Ask the doctors. Do not be afraid of people because of their position or whatever regalia they're wearing or whatever level they might be standing on. You can ask good, relevant, cognizant, if you will, questions. And if people want to feel like you're challenging authority, so be it. That doesn't mean you don't ask your questions.
Yeah. And what they're also doing is in the school system, in the education system, they're doing the same thing. They're creating people who don't know how to critically think, right. And this cogs in the system. And that is, again, part of the communist agenda to get control of the schools, use them as a transmission belt for socialism and current communist propaganda, soften the curriculums. Why do you think it can't be by accident or just by, some glitch in the system that many of our students are not being educated as well as they were, decades ago or generations ago? No, they are softening the curriculums. They are getting they have gotten control of teachers associations. They are putting the party line in textbooks. They're doing all this in order to take control over entire generations, creating just cogs, people that blindly follow authority, sheep who are not able to critically question and think on these things. And we have to call them out.
Exactly. One of the, I guess I would call it the most famous classic research experiments, one of the Milgram experiments, came out of the Nazi era, right? When we had a lot of experiments about people just following orders. And we the conclusion was by and large that no, you don't just follow orders, especially when the orders are immoral, illegal, regardless of who is giving you the order. So we've already known this. I mean, we've known it before then, but certainly we've known it from a codified stance, certainly after World War II in the Nazi era. So these people, they want chaos. They want chaos. You're right. They want cogs. I call them Borgs. Star Trek fans out there, I call them the Borg. That's exactly what they want.
Exactly. And we do have some super chatters here. Thank you all so much. Let's see here. All right. We have Redbucks with a $5 super sticker. Thank you. Thank you. And Job for 9. Thank you so much with the $10 super chat. Says medical students do what study previously done research. We are no sheeps here. Discernment and research are the key. If it does not make sense, it's a lie. All right. Absolutely. Thank you so much. Job, Job. Mark Slater, I believe, has a super chat here. $20 super chat says sheeple, aka leftist. Absolutely. And you guys, it's not just within the education system, within the media that are creating, as Shelley said, Borgs. It's the food. It's the food. And this is what RFK Jr. is trying to get out. He wants to get rid of ultra processed foods. 70% of kids, according to this report, calories come from ultra processed foods linked to health outcomes like diabetes and depression. Also, a lot of this artificial coloring and things like that. They have terrible effects on the mind, on numbing. They're calling it numbing the mind, also adding to ADHD in boys specifically. He wants to get rid of that. Environmental toxins. Says here in this part of this report, kids are absorbing chemicals in water, pesticides in food, and flame retardants at home. The digital addiction, overstimulation from screens is linked to rising ADHD, anxiety, and suicide. This stuff is, again, and a lot of times we don't count all of these things, what we're ingesting, what we're intaking, but not just through our mouths, but through our eyes, through our ears. This has a detrimental effect on young people. Absolutely. What are your thoughts on that, Shelley, in this report that came out?
This is true. It's not, your diet is not only what you eat. You're right. Your diet is what we take in, hear, see, things like that. So it's not just what you eat. Yes, that's true. Children, we can look at many children, KJ. We can look at them just, randomly walking or out in the daily life. And you see so many children, they are overweight. They are what right here? Their face is on this little, this little box, right? Walking across the street. They're not even, if you will, doing what normal children play is universal. All across the world, children play. You don't even see them just taking an interest in going outside to play with friends. Many of them have friends on social media. The parents are, I don't know if they're afraid or whatever the case may be. They don't want their children, over someone else's house. And it's social media, and the media by and large has consumed a lot of our children and adults' minds. As far as diabetes, we can see it. I see it almost every day. People who are diabetic, and I'm talking about type 2, largely type 2, because type 2 is 99.99% preventable, and it has a really successful rate of curing if you most likely change your diet. That's a significant contributor to type 2 diabetes. People, even when they're in the hospital, the food that they get from the hospital, and instead of giving them information and facts, no, you shouldn't be eating 2 and 3 meals right back to back. No, you shouldn't be eating snacks in between your meals, and then you have to get however many units of insulin to bring your sugar back down.
Wow.
So some of the medical policies are counterproductive even to people healing. So this goes the gamut. But as children, for children specifically, children need healthy diets. They need to get outside and play. They need to hear the word no several times a day, right? Parents know better, know best. And a lot of these ailments that are talked about in this report, I'm reading through it, will drastically reduce.
Yeah. But we know, we talked about this on Christian Conservative last week, I believe. Most of these Democrats don't want us to have the populations to grow. The Democrat Party does not want more Americans. Hillary Clinton, for goodness sake, said it. She actually said it. She wants us to have more immigrants to have the babies, more illegals to have babies. She doesn't even want American babies. So the fact is, this may all be by design. They may be trying to use the food industry to use, this ADHD and this artificial coloring and stuff inside of food that creates aggressiveness in boys and things like that. They want this because they want to probably put a limit on the population in America.
You're right. ADHD is another common one. Today we see almost, I don't know what, I think that report said like 1 in 8 children, if not 1 in 3, particularly boys, are diagnosed with ADHD and things. I thought it was a farce years ago. I thought it was a farce. And one of the reasons I knew it was a farce, because I kept thinking, wait a minute, why are these kids typically have more energy than adults? That's normal. They're supposed to. But when I was substituting at the some local public schools here, I've substituted. And in the mornings when the children come, they're not ready to just sit down and read. First of all, boys don't typically do that like girls do. But they were young children. They have energy. So what would I do? I was counterproductive, if you will, or countercultural. I took them outside first thing in the morning. I would take them outside, let them run a little bit, and then come back down. We took, when they loved me as a substitute because we had more breaks than I don't know what, right? But they came back, they did their work, they started getting antsy. We go outside again. But all of these diagnoses, everything needs a diagnosis. No, sometimes children are just normal.
Yeah. I want to acknowledge our super chatters, folks. Thank you all so much. We really appreciate you. All right, let's see here. We have Mark Slater with the $20 super chat. So if it has a nutritional label, it isn't food. That's right. That's right.
Okay.
Red Cup Talks with Mika says, I eat 1 meal a day, so my gut has 20 plus hours. I do that too. And that is a very good point, because when we're younger, the metabolism is very fast. We're moving a lot more. Chaotic Truth says, KJ, what's up? Hey, Chaotic. But as you get older, your body changes. And I've started doing the same thing. I eat 1 meal a day, or try to eat 1 meal a day. and stay move and drink plenty of water. And I've seen a difference, not just in my energy level, but also skin and things like that. So it's very good. That's very true.
Well, I've been doing intermittent fasting, I think about 4 years now. And I've said it before. I had a wake-up call, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago when I stepped on the scale at the doctor's office. And I was like, oh my gosh, what the hell? Let me do that again, right? I had to do a double take. But I've been intermittent fasting. I mean, I love it. It's like when I first learned about it, the lady who I learned about it from, she would say it's it's free, it's flexible, and it's safe. Right. Mm-hmm. And you do it at your own pace. Most days I do like one meal a day. Every now and then I splurge, like, whatever. Right. But for the most part, I feel better. I feel better when I eat well, when I go out and do my hikes, of course, when I go out and do some pew-pewing and stuff like that. But overall, and getting rest is important too. Right. So, but yeah, and these were just things that, I knew that I had to relearn and reapply, but for children, a lot of times, at least in today's culture, children just cannot be children anymore.
Yeah.
They're I call them bubbleized to the point that they are getting suffocated.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I agree there, Shelly. We had another super chat here, I believe. Let's see here. All right. From Tijuana Border Jumper with a $10 super chat says, my dad cured my ADHD by putting me in the yard pulling weeds. I was no longer afflicted with it. All right.
That's right.
Yeah, I know. I know exactly what you mean. And I agree. Yes, indeed. Folks, as you guys come in, please hit that like button, and subscribe if you haven't done so. What are you waiting for? I do see Red Cup Talks with Mika in the chat. Here and I've been talking on Instagram. We got to get you on. We're going to be on next Friday night. Next Friday night, Mika will be on with us as long as she's available. Folks, this is our merch. Check out our merch on our website, popandpoliticslive.com, and then click on shop. That's one of our favorite tees there. Not black, not white, American. Don't let them divide us. So it's a great way to give a message to people of unity. It's a great conversation starter. So definitely check out our merch. You can get that in different color tees. You can get it in sweatshirts, hoodies, right there. Popandpoliticslive.com, and then click on shop. All right. I'm excited about this Maha movement. And again, President Trump, actually RFKJ, during his press conference this week said Trump is on the side of the middle class, the working class, the poor in this country. I've never seen a president, Democrat or Republican, that is willing to stand up to industry. Never in American history has the federal government taken a position on public health like this. That is what RFK Jr. said this week in a press conference. So that's pretty extraordinary. And we're right there with him.
And guess what? This administration is also challenging institutions, authority in their own way for the good of the American people. They are doing that as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, that does it for us tonight. We are at the end of our time. Don't go away yet, though. I want to leave you guys with this video that President Trump posted on Truth Social about Hillary Clinton, which is pretty damning. And it really opens up a lot of questions that need to be answered. So I want you guys to take a look at this. All right. We have another super chatter. Oh, my goodness. Mark Slater with the $50 super chat says, I see y'all. No one's going to out chat me tonight. All right. All right, Mark. Well, can somebody out chat him? Do we have somebody who's going to do a bigger super chat than Mark? He's the king of super chats. Thank you so much, Mark. We really appreciate it. Folks, these super chats do go a long way in helping us push out conservative content. And then also, again, we have our event coming up next week, Saturday, our Informed Voter Power series. We want to get the younger generation involved. There it is, our Informed Voter Power series. Again, get loud, get informed, get empowered. You join us for an electrifying live conversation on political, economic, and cultural forces shaping your future, your vote. Yes, indeed. So, oh, wow. Oh, my goodness. Tijuana Border Jumper, Mark. Tijuana Border Jumper.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. Both with $100 super chat.
Thank you, Mark and
Oh,
Tijuana.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate you. Wow, you guys. Oh, they both did it. They both out chatted themselves. Wow, $100. Thank you. We really appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you. You guys are getting it going again. Same thing like last time. They were at it last time. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you guys. Wow. Yeah, that's what we're here for. Oh. Mark with the $200 super chat. Wow, he is not saying he will not be outdone.
I know, Mark
Slater will not be outdone. Real American Variety with the $20 super chat says, first time I ever seen your live. This was fantastic. You ladies give me so much hope for this country. United we stand.
Thank you.
Yes, indeed. Wendy, wow, Wendy. Uh-oh. She said, no fair, guys. With the $100 super chat.
That's okay. Tijuana for the 50. Thank you.
We gotta tell Nicole. Because Nicole loves you, Tijuana Border Jumper. Okay. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh. You guys are fantastic. It's nothing like a Friday night on Poppin' Politics. I gotta tell you. Wow. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh. Wendy, Tijuana Border Jumper. Mark Slater, and all of you guys, thank you so much. Did we miss anybody? Red Cup Talks, all of you guys. Tijuana Border Jumper, Wendy. Oh, my Real American, you guys are the best. Mark Slater. Oh, Mark always gets it going. What in the world? Yes.
Thank you.
Mark Slater gets it jumping. So thank you so much. We really appreciate everyone. Job, everybody, Josh, all of you. Thank you so much. I just put in the
chat. I want to say we honor again the Gold Star, Silver Star, and Blue Star families this weekend. Thank you to all of you who have served in our audience. We appreciate you guys so much. Thank you.
Absolutely right. As we go into Memorial Day weekend, right? Oh my gosh, I forget the Monday. Yes,
I know, right?
Yes, indeed, we do. We pay honor to all of you who have served. So people always get it confused. Memorial Day is to honor those who have died in service, correct?
Right. Died in service, right. Yep. And sometimes the POWs, MIAs, but that's why they have the different families, but yes.
Okay. Yes. So we take the time to do that. I want to wish everyone a very good. Well, is it good to say Happy Memorial Day? Yes, right.
I know it's kind of odd to say that, but
I know,
we honor you.
Yeah, we honor you, and I'm not sure if we'll be on for Monday or not. We may not be on Monday.
I don't think so. I don't think we were. Thank you, Jessica, for your service too.
Yes, and you guys know Shelly served. Shelly is served in honor in the Gulf War, right?
Yep, Gulf War veteran. So I'm dating myself.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Okay. Yes. Yes, Shelly served, and she is something else. Miss Shelly is something else. So, folks, thank you, everyone who served, everyone who has passed on. We want to honor you for that as well. Honor you all for your service. Let me see. Do we have any veterans? Steve. All right. Okay, Steve is a Navy vet.
I think it was Josh. I think Kimberly, Jessica said she was too. Thank you.
All right. Yep. Yes, indeed. All right.
All right, everybody. Well,
all right. Yeah, that does it for us tonight. Yeah, Shelly is combat ready. Yes, she is.
I'm sorry, Kate. I know we got to go. Don't forget, I remember I said I had something to tell you all, guys. I wanted to share with you, and I said everything. I'll save it for next week. I'll save it for next week.
Go ahead, share. You said it again tonight. Go ahead and share.
Oh God, no. I want to save it because I want everything to be finished. I want it to be finished.
Okay.
Yeah, it's something that's fun. I mean, I'm excited about it, but I'll tell you all next week. I didn't forget. I'll tell you all next week.
All right.
Mark,
Well,
I'll never yell at you.
Oh,
Sammy.
Okay. Yeah, I think we did get another super chat, didn't we? Okay. Oh, Mark says thanks for not yelling at us.
I'm not yelling at you, Mark. No, we love you guys.
We would never yell at you, Mark. Okay. All right. Well, again, folks, as we close out today's show, again, we want to honor the brave men and women who gave their lives for the freedoms we too often take for granted.
Absolutely.
Your sacrifice is the price of our liberty. We don't forget. We don't move on. We remember. God bless you all. We won't be here on Monday. We'll be back on Wednesday. But you have the All American Talk Show. They'll be here Tuesday. You can find them on the YouTube channel at All American Talk. And then we will be back on Wednesday. Yes, right. Wednesday. You'll be, and I'll be back. I'll be on Sunday for at KJ Christian Conservative. So I'll be back there. Check me out at KJ Christian Conservative. And then we will be back here at Poppin' Politics on Wednesday. Also, Saturday, you can check out Just the Guys at Just the Guys Podcast, that channel here on YouTube as well. That's tomorrow. So they'll be on tomorrow. Yeah, they will be on tomorrow. You guys got to check them out. They'll bring you all the latest tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. at Just the Guys Podcast. You check them out. It's great conservative content from a male perspective. All right. So again, that does it for us tonight. Thanks you so much. Count your blessings and live a life of purpose.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Remember John F. Kennedy Jr.? He was declared the front runner for the New York Senate seat back in 1999. Days later, his plane crashed into the Atlantic Ocean, and his rival, Hillary Clinton, was elected senator. Mary Mahoney was a Clinton White House intern. She knew enough of the inner workings of Bill's sexual advancements to be a star witness during the Clinton impeachment trials. She was brutally executed at a Starbucks she was managing in 1997. In 1993, White House counsel Vince Foster was found dead in Fort Marcy Park near D.C. He supposedly killed himself, and among a lengthy list of potential foul play, the bullet was never found.
Then there's James McDougal, a key witness for White House prosecutors. He was serving his 3-year sentence for bank fraud at the Fort Worth Federal Medical Center in Texas. And just before he was to give a testimony before the grand jury, McDougal suffered a heart attack in solitary confinement.
In 2015, Walter Scheib, a White House chef hired under Bill Clinton, joined the list. His body was found at the bottom of a river, nearly 2 miles from the base of the trail he was reportedly hiking. An autopsy determined that Scheib's death was accidental drowning, but he might have known too much. 27-year-old Democratic National Committee staffer Seth Rich was shot and killed in D.C. this year. There is speculation that he was the source of the controversial leaked emails allegedly sent by DNC staffers, and that he may have been murdered in retaliation. Then Sean Lucas, the lead attorney in a fraud case against the DNC, was found lying on the bathroom floor by his girlfriend when she returned home on August 2nd. His death was reported classified, pending the results of an autopsy.
To this day,